And start with a note. Okay, pages are ready. Come to the user page. Get one text box. This is 12 we have given, right? Okay. Full name. One text box. Text. Next, after that, one button. Median primary. M2. Right here, text center. Create a table. Class name, table, empty port, T head is required, ER is required, full name is required, one more PH call, F7. Okay, done. Go to the next page. That is called product page. Same table we can keep there also. Paragraph and table both is copy. We can add in the product page. Okay, so product page also looks similar. Add some more field. Placeholder you can add. Name of the product. Class name. M2. M2. Name price. Quantity. Save product. Something like this. Price quantity. Okay, so make ready till here. Next, after that, we have to make them we don't have anywhere full name. Here, full name. This is the user file. Okay, so come next. Next, after that, this design is ready. In API, we'll have very small basic layout, not much thing. So come to the next call. Your folders, SRC folder, and how many component we have created. One is called user, product, and then API. User data will be maintained by one reducer, product data will be maintained by another reducer. Why not same reducer will maintain? Because in user page, you can see it is a single dimensional array, only one input. But in product.js file, it is multi-dimensional. So one reducer cannot handle both. Okay. They will not understand the request whether it is to add the single dimensional element or multi-dimensional element. So you have to create one reducer for user, one reducer for book, and one reducer for API. Three reducer. And see, once we create, you will come to know how reducer is going to happen. So first create a reducer called user reducer .js. Reducer.js. User reducer.js. User reducer.js. Create one more file that will be for product reducer. Product reducer.js. User reducer, product reducer. Next, create one more file, API reducer. Three reducer. Product reducer, API reducer, as well as user reducer. Now all three reducer, individual, it cannot talk to the store. A reducer is responsible to deal with the store, to send the data and receive the data. But a store says like, individual reducer cannot come inside. You have 20 reducer, that is fine. You need to combine all reducer together and then come together. So what we will do for that? That is called a combined reducer. Create one more file called main reducer. Main reducer.js. User reducer, product reducer, and then API reducer, and after that, main reducer. Okay. User reducer will maintain the user data. Book reducer will maintain the not book. Product reducer will maintain the product data, and then API reducer will maintain the API data. Okay. Next, after that, come to the user reducer. Write a const user list equal to pattern method, create a variable all user equal to return all user. Export default user list. Okay, hope ready. So when you call the user list, what it will return? Array, empty array. It will return empty array. We'll copy the same, paste in the product reducer, change called product list, all product. Okay, then copy the same, paste under the API reducer, API list. Hope you are following the similar camel case. All API, all API. Now, how many function you got? User list, product list, as well as API list. Come to the main reducer, import combine reducer. Combine reducers from Redux. Import combine reducer from the Redux. Okay, now import the remaining what we created today. User list, import product list, import API list, next after that const main reducer equal to combine reducer. Inside that export default main reducer. Read once properly. Everything imported well. Now combined reducer we called. So first what we did, we created the separate reducer. Now all the reducer we are going to combine one place. Why? Because your store will not allow to call multiple reducer together. A store says like if you have 100 reducer, you combine all one place and come together. Don't come one by one. Okay. Like suppose in a company there is one owner and five manager, and after that maybe one senior manager and maybe 100 employee. All 100 employee will report to their manager. Manager will report to the senior manager, and senior manager will report to whom? Owner. Structure. So if everyone will start talking to the owner, what will happen? His valuable time will go somewhere. So better than that, one person collect all the information and give together. Redux is like you can create multiple reducer to maintain the data of each component, and after that, when you want to send your reducer to a store, you cannot send individual. You have to combine all the reducer together, and then you can send inside a store. People ask in interview, what is the concept of combined reducer? You saw now how many component we have? 3-4 component we have. If inside one page, if inside one project, if you have only one component, no need to create the multiple reducer. But inside one project, if you have multiple component, then you have to create the multiple reducer. And if you have multiple reducer, then all the reducer cannot talk to the store directly. All the reducer has to combine one place, and then final reducer will go to whom? A store. Okay, so that what you did in your project. Now 3 components are there. So for 3 component, 3 reducer you created. Now once 3 reducer you created, then you have to use the concept of combined reducer. So their combined reducer we imported from the Redux, and after that we imported our components also, that reduce component name. Finally, we are going to combine all reducer here. First is called user list, comma. Second is called product list, and third one is called a API list. The combined reducer is holding 3 reducer: user list, product list, API list, and combined reducer is getting assigned to main reducer. And when you are doing export default, what you are doing? Main reducer. Now main reducer will send to the store. So we have to create the store now, and inside the store we need to send this reducer. Which reducer? Main reducer. So once the main reducer will go inside the store, along with main reducer, how many sub reducer will go? 3. Okay, indirectly all the reducer will be under a store only, but all cannot go individual. All has to go together when and while creating the store. So now we will create a file called, check properly spelling, single quote, double quote. Then after that, camel case, export, import. Okay, so hope you have maintained everything properly. Come now, create a next file that is called store.js. store store.js. Under the store.js, you will combine the create a store, import create a store, import create a store from Redux. Import create a store from Redux. Next, after that, import main reducer from main reducer.js file. Next, after that, const my store equal to create a store. Create a store. Inside that, you will pass call main reducer. Next, export default my store. Okay. So first three reducer we created. Then we combine under the main reducer. After combining under the main reducer, we created the store using the create a store. Under the create a store, we send the main reducer. So indirectly under the reducer, under the store, you are sending three reducer, that is called user list, and then product list as well as API list. And finally, your store name becomes a my store. Okay. Now this my store we have to give to someone else, call as a provider. So this come to the next file, that is called index.js. Okay, now come to the index.js file. In index.js file, you have to import here before app.js file or after app is also fine. You need to import call import provider. Import provider from React Redux. 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 Okay, imported. Next, come down. We have this app. Restrict mode is there. If you want to can remove it, or if you want to can keep it. So app should be the part of provider. So before app, you will open the provider, and after app, you will close the provider. Okay, hope written. Under the provider, we kept the app, right? But in provider, you have to send your Okay, we have to import the store also. Import my store from the store.js file. Import my store from store.js file. Okay, imported the my store. Now in provider, you have to pass the store as a store equal to my store. A store equal to my store. Okay, so that is the basic setup we need to do every time. Okay, so setup is done. Now check in your browser any error or no error. No error. Okay, so hope everyone have completed till here. Now let's go to the first component called user. So we created the multiple component, multiple reducer, that is called your user reducer, product reducer, as well as API reducer, and then you combine under the main reducer. After combining under the main reducer you given to whom? Right? Main reducer where we given? To the store. So inside the store you send 4 reducer, 3 reducer. Then after that a store you given to the index.js file. Under the index.js file, a store you a store will be given called my store. So my store be given to provider now. Now provider is going to handle everything. Store will be the part of provider, and inside the store your reducer will come, and reducer will take care of the data for each component. Individual reducer will maintain the data of each component. Now data has to come from the React to reducer, and reducer will do something next. So come to your user.js file, and in user.js file we have to work on remaining part. So how many reducer you created? 3 reducer. Reducer you given to whom? Main reducer. Main reducer gone to the store. Store gone to where? Provider. Right? This is the steps we follow till now. Next, after that, your component will take the input from user, and after that it will give to the reducer, and reducer will keep under the store. Okay. Your user component, when you fill the data here, and click on save button. So this data will go to where? This data will go to the reducer. And reducer, where is the reducer? Reducer is under the store, right? So while sending the data, we have to use another hooks function. While receiving the data, we have to use another hooks function. So come inside now under the user reducer and import the user state. Import React comma user state, user state. Okay, so import from React. Next, after that, import use dispatch from the React Redux as well as use selector from React Redux. Now, what is the use of use dispatch and what is the use of use selector? So from the view file, the user.js file becomes a view file. So from user.js file, data has to go to the store. Inside the store, your reducer is sitting. From the view file, data has to go to the store. So in store, your reducer is sitting. Like suppose when I come to this page, enter the value, click on save button. So this data will go to where? This data will go to the store. But this is the React and that is called Redux. This is the file what you are running. It is from the React. And where you want to send to the store. Where is the store? Store is under the Redux. Okay. So what will happen from React to Redux? How the data transfer will happen? How data will go and how data will come? For that there are two functions. One function called use dispatch. Using use dispatch, you can send the data. Another function is called use selector. Using use selector, we can bring the data. From where? From a store. From a store to Redux, React, data will come via, data will from the store to React. You have to use selector. And from the React to store, use dispatch. Okay. Dispatch means sending the container through that you are sending the data. Okay. The carrier through that you are sending the data. Okay. Next, after that, now you create a variable here called let full name comma pick name. Pick name equal to use state, use state. Next, after that, come down below, write a function called const save alert full name. Alert full name. So this is your React part. Taking the value from text box and storing in a state variable is a React work. It is not Redux work. So go here, write on change in text box. On change equal to call obj fat arrow key pick name. Inside the pick name, you will be writing dot target dot value, so that when you start typing, the value will go to the full name variable. Then on button click. We need to call the function call save. Check till here it's happening or not. When we enter the value, click on save button. That value should come as an alert. Then we'll dispatch that to the store. Enter the value, click on button, the value should come as an alert. Next, after that, whichever the value is coming as alert, that value we need to send to the store. Okay, the value comes as alert. That value we need to send to the store. How will you send to a store? With the help of this one called use dispatch. So use dispatch again, you cannot use directly. You have to create the object of use dispatch like this. Const dispatch dispatch equal to use dispatch. Const dispatch equal to use dispatch. Okay, next after that, come here and at this place, create a variable called dispatch data. Dispatch data. We have to specify one property called type. Type colon. Type colon. So what you are going to do? You are going to add the value, right? You are going to add the value. So reducer, how reducer will understand what you want to do? You are sending a value, and in that value you have not mentioned anything what to do of this value, correct? Reducer can search also, reducer can delete also, reducer can update also, what to do? So we are saying like add user. So type colon add user. So type becomes a type of action. You are dispatching the data. In that data, there is one property called type that will specify what to do, and there will be another property called username. In that, full name will come. Full name will come. Full name will come. Okay. So type equal to add user comma user colon which one? Full name. User colon full name. User colon full name. Dispatch equal to type colon add user colon. Right now come down. Come down and you will call the dispatch object, and inside the dispatch you will dispatch this content. Dispatch data. Instead of dispatch data, keep as a user data better. User data. The user data you are dispatching. So flows should be clear. We have taken the value from the text box. After taking the value from text box, we created an object. In that we added two property. One is called type, another one is called username. Type is we added call add user, and username we added call full name. Now this user data what we have an object we are dispatching. So now once you call the dispatch where it will send, where is the destination of the dispatch? Dispatch directly it will go to the store. Now inside the store how many reducer are working? 3 reducer. As soon as this data will reach to the store, 3 reducer will come and it will check how can I help you. Then this reducer will say, which one? Dispatch will say, my type is called add user. Now, as soon as it will specify my type is add user, then reducer, 3 reducer will check who is responsible for add user. Then 1 reducer will say, I am responsible for add user. 1 reducer will take the action and it will add inside the store. Okay. Now this add user, where you will describe now, in which reducer? User reducer. Right? You are at the same destination where I am. So you have taken the value from where? Text box using on change. And while taking the value from text box, what you follow? You follow the normal method, what we follow, and then we given to the state variable. That is called full name. And after that, while typing the value gone to the state variable. Once user will click on save button, then from a state variable we are taking and we are creating an object, and with the help of use dispatch, this object we are dispatching directly to store. Now once this object will go to the store, like request will go to the store, inside the store 3 reducer will be waiting for your request. As soon as the request will go to the store, 3 reducer will be there. A reducer will check this data is for whom. Then user reducer will say this data is for me. Why? Because developer has explained me when add user object will come, you take the action. Okay. Let's come to the user reducer now. Go to the user reducer. Inside the user reducer, few line we have to modify. I'll guide you here. What is that? Then we can follow it. Okay. Yes, sir. What is sir? ठीक है. Okay, so come to this user reducer now. In user reducer, let me take one line. Where is the Redux data? Redux file from should be into the completed batch. I have clear already, I guess. Okay, this line I was searching. State and action. I'll make changes, then you can try. State and action. And one more line we require, that is called this much. This. Okay, now I'll explain it first. What is this? When the data will come to this reducer, that is called user list. User list reducer will get the data, right? So it is user list is a function, right? You can say no, user list is a function. Inside 2 parameters is there. One is called state and another one is called action. From user.js file, you can see your dispatch is sending some data that is under the user data. So this user data variable, what you are sending, the user data variable will dispatch from here and it will capture under this variable called as a action, and it will capture under the action. After that, so action is for what purpose? Action is for what purpose? To receive the new data. So inside action, what will come now? You can see from here, one property is called type and another property is called username. So inside the action, you will find two, because from there user data is coming and user data will transfer to where? Action variable. Then you will ask, what is this? State equal to array. So state equal to array is nothing but you are creating a variable. Their data type is by default as a array. By default as array. Initial, first time, when you run your project first time, then what will be the value of a state variable? So the value of a state variable will be by default as a array. Okay, empty array. Next, user will come and user will click on save user. New user will come. New user details will come and capture under the action variable. In action variable, there will be two property, type as well as username. Type as well as username, right? You can see here username. We will check here now. If type is add user, then take the username and push inside the all user. Then what is the all user by default is holding? You saw here a state. A state is by default as a array, empty array. Now inside the state, what will happen? A state was by default empty when you have run the page first time, but when you added a user, now a state is not empty. A state is holding how many? One record. Again you will add one more user. So what will happen? A state will hold one more user. Correct? Next, after that, you come after this line and write here what is inside the action. Inside the action, if it is the add user, then push the new element. If it is the delete user, then splice the element. And after doing the push or a splice, return all user. Like available element. After adding a new user, return all. After deleting element, also return all. So at this place, you are going to write if action.type. So why we are writing here action.type? Action.type we are writing because from there which property you have sent? You have sent as a type. And what is the value of the type? Add user. So React will suggest you to use triple equal to because your value is coming as a string and it wanted to match 100%. So use triple equal to any kind of warning message. Triple equal to for the data comparison as well as data type comparison. So if action.type is holding only add user, then under the all user, you have to push a new element that is called action dot all user dot push. Inside we will call action dot user name. Okay. Action dot type equal to add user. Action dot type equal to add user. Then if action dot type is add user, then take the username and push inside the all user. And finally, what to do? Return the user list. Whichever the element you have inside array, return that. So this become one task of your reducer. Okay, this become one task of your reducer. See, in JSON server, I'll forward you one task. When I ask the people to learn seriously, people feel like I have paid the money and his job is to speak, he need to speak. Whether I do or not do, why he will ask me. Correct? That only, no? And the people will go for interview, and the company will ask assignment, they will send assignment to me only. Okay? देखो आप, I have sent one homework to your WhatsApp. It says like, you count the photo. It says like, first name, not null, minimum 5 character. Okay? So validation. Okay? What is next? Last name should not be the null, minimum how many? 5 character. Email ID validation is required. You have written no day before yesterday. Next, after that, mobile number, code, pick mobile number, something mobile number validation you apply, no problem. +91 you have added, let it be. Address 1 is mandatory validation. After that, address 2 is optional. Next, what it says, get list of state based on country, auto-complete, search and multi-select. Okay, so that you can create a drop-down. For now, you can create a state drop-down. For a state and country, also create a drop-down. Search option is not there, leave that. At least create a drop-down. After that, so this becomes a what? Form, right? That becomes a form to validate. After that, what is saying? Requirement feature is create a user. Okay, so form should be there based on this criteria. When we fill the form, what should happen? This data should create user, view list of user, edit and update user and delete user. Correct? We have covered or not? We have covered, no? Now after that, use any backend of your choice. Some local cache is also fine too. That meaning is what? You can use the JSON server, right? Let me know if any query. Thank you and best of something, right? We have covered in class half an hour. You need to take the file, modify that, correct or not? Modify that, and within 1 hour, your task should get submitted. Correct. While learning, if the people will think like optional work, how offer letter will come to house? Right? Offer letter will not come. No? Okay. You people have not tried for this? Anyone got? I don't know, some company there. Relation server. Then save इसको edit delete That is a requirement. Hello. Hmm. Yes, sir. Hmm. Hmm. कहाँ से कॉल किया हो? कोई रिक्वायरमेंट ऐसा नहीं है. Okay. Okay. Let's go now. We can check our project is working or not. Right. So we have added here action type equal to triple equal to. So that part, no, what is that? Saving the data, listing the data, editing the data, deleting the data. That is the prime work for a developer. If a person is able to do that, that meaning he has overall all the knowledge. He can do some work, right? Even in my career, whatever the interview I have attended, final plus complex round is that only. What is that? Create a form, save the data, apply the validation using different technology. Okay, right? You should focus on that part before going to the interview. Okay. Come now. So this will go to where? Store. Let's check now. This will go to the store and after that it will return all user. So we'll come to the, so there is no doubt data will go to the store. Okay, data will go to the store. After sending the data to a store, okay, we will display a length here, whether our length is increasing or not. Okay, so let's come. Now you are sending the data with the help of which function? Dispatch. So dispatch is working like a courier. It is taking your data, make as an object and deliver to a destination. When it's gone to the destination, 3 reducer was there. Out of 3 reducer, 1 reducer will be received your data who is having this feature. Which one? Type equal to add user. So in this, where we have written type equal to add user, particular that reducer will capture your data. Now your data will go to the reducer, to the store via reducer. Data will also come from the store only via reducer. So who is that for that? Same function. When you call the user list, what it will give? All user. Export default is there. Come to your user file now. But to call that, you have to use selector. How to do that? Come down here, where we can write here call all user. It should not be like same variable. Okay. It is not necessary that it should be same variable. I'll write here call user, my user. Okay. I'll keep here call my user equal to what is the use selector. Inside the use selector, you have to write call state. Remember under the reducer, you have use a variable called state, right? So your Redux also keep the data under the state only, how React was sending, storing, but under the this state is referring to your reduce store indirectly. See state we are going to write here. What I'll do like this, I'll write a state of a state dot that function name. Which function name? User list. So inside your store, how many function are there? Inside the store, how many function you have? How many reducer you have? 3 reducer. So from 3 reducer, you are capturing only 1 reducer, right? So it says the state is representing to the all the data of your store. Inside the store, whatever the data is stored, all is being represented by a state variable. Then only it is saying a state dot user list. We can also write a state dot product list, a state dot API list. So if you call a state list, a product list, it will give the product data. If you give user list, then it will give the user data. My user, print here the length. my user dot length. While printing the length itself, you will come to know your project have error or not. If it is printing 0, then okay. Printing 0. The assignment I have given you, I should not say. That assignment is given to me by that student who is attending my class last 1.5 years. 10 plus batches he is attending. Still he is not clear. He has attended 2-month project training also. But how? Have you seen the movie called Refugee? Not full Indian, not full Pakistani. Correct or not? Entire operation on border itself. That is called as a refugee. So 2 days in the class, 3 days in the hometown, 2 days in the Lonavala, and 3 days in the Mumbai. Again 4 days in the class. Correct? When Papa closed the restaurant, then went back to home. There is some limitation, no? Father will not say you are the only one. I have 2 more sons. Correct? So what will happen that day? Entire time pass will come out. In his batch only, the people who have joined, they got 2 times hike in the industry. They started from 3 lakh, reach 8 lakh now. Okay, and still he is looking for a job itself. Problem is what? What is the problem? Seriousness. Seriousness. Okay. Okay, how many is coming? 0. Okay. Let's go now. Add some user. See whether it is increasing or not. You have to refresh the page once. Okay. Refresh once. And then see. Increasing. 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 Right? Increasing. That represent your value gone to where? A store. Okay. Value gone to a store. Now keep in mind, where is the store? A store is not part of React. A store is a part of Redux. That is a separate library you have installed. User has given the data to React component. Component dispatch the data to where? Out of the React. That is under the Redux. You will see the benefit of Redux. You see in my system how many user is showing? 6. We have not stored this data anywhere in database. No local storage, no session storage. We are not sent to API anywhere. I will go to other component. API, I went to the user. I'll go to the dashboard. I'll come back to user. You can see how many user? 6. Go anywhere and come back. Just condition is don't refresh your page. You will not lose your data. Because in a normal React project, when you store the data in array and go to other component and come back, you will lose this data. You will lose this data in normal React project. If you are storing in array, but in this, what is happening? Your data is not inside the component. It is under the store. Whenever you come to the component, your data will come from store. Condition is don't refresh the page. This is the feature of Redux. No other feature. This is the feature of Redux. Okay, where if you change the component from one component to other component, your data will be saved. Okay. Check now. 2% reply for them in increasing. Here, increasing for everyone. Or no? That side. Error. No, I can share the SRC folder because many files are there. No? Many files are there. In all the file, I cannot debug the errors. I have gone step by step in a very smooth manner. Even I was out for the 2 minutes also on every 10 minutes. How you have written that, then we need to replace folder. See, the problem is what? Problem is, I'll tell you the problem, okay? You have forgot your variable name. Your variable name somewhere you have written capital and here you are calling as a small. Right? As a developer, don't mind also, there is a word called short-term memory loss. Okay, it was happening for me also, right? I'm talking about myself only. If I have a habit of short-term memory loss, I cannot be a very good developer because you have to write one line in one file. That variable you have to access somewhere else. That variable you have to access somewhere else. That variable you have to access after 10 minutes. Now, after 10 minutes, you need to remember what variable name you have written 10 minutes before. Okay, if you forget, then how will you manage there? Will you manage? No, you can't manage it, right? Question is why we forget the variable name. Okay, when you wrote the user list U and L capital, while printing it, why you made a mistake? Correct? 3 months you are doing the same thing, no? Still same mistake. At the point of main point where you need to fire, your gun is fail. Okay, come. I will share the SRC folder. Don't worry, it will work for you. Come down. Next, we need to print the list. Okay, come to the T body. See now what you have written. Do you remember the step? Yesterday, what you did? You set up the project. After that, we created the component. We wrote the routing. Apart from that, anything else yesterday? No. That is the React what you have studied. Today, what we did? We created the file called user reducer. We created the file called product reducer. We created the file called store. We created the file called main reducer. Now under the main reducer, we combine what are the reducer? User, product, and API 3 combined. Then we got a main reducer. While creating the store, we sent inside main reducer. So under the store, we have total how many reducer? 3 reducer. Correct? Now after that, 3 reducer we have. Now data will come from user via user interface. So user interface is being generated by React. React has generated a user interface. User has given the data here. Based on click, you taken the value from the use state and all that we have no already idea. Pick value and all. Your value was here. You created an object and that object with the help of use dispatch, you dispatch to where? Store. Your value gone to the store. Where is the store? Value gone to the store. Inside the store, one reducer was there. To that reducer, we have trend saying like if any action will come and inside the action, if the type will be add user, it will be your responsibility to take the value and push inside the on user and return which one? User list. And whenever I'll call you, you give me the list of data. Correct? So what is happening? You are sending the data here, reducer is captured, able to capture and push inside the array. And after that, whenever you are calling the user list is able to give you the list of users. Right? So one side you have called React, another side you have called Redux. And one side at front you have the user. User did the action, based on action, dispatch happened to whom? Reducer. Reducer was under the store, captured the data and kept under the state. And whenever you call the function reducer, what the reducer did, reducer look into the state and inside the state one variable is there, function is there, that is called user list. User list will give you a list of your guy. Okay, come down. लिखिए नीचे T body, right below T body. Inside the T body, you will print here call my user dot map. Username, comma, index. Return equal to index right here, write the name TD as a username. Okay, so here username you have written. I hope you may get some confusion. What is that? Let's write only name. Okay. So from my user, we are transferring to where? Name variable. Name variable. Now you follow below TD and write a delete button. Delete. On click. On click equal to, will not call anything as of now. Just design the layout. Class name, btn hyphen, btn hyphen sn. Okay. So hope we are getting the list. Go to other component, come back, data will be there. But once you refresh it, all will be gone. All will be gone. Add here, come in. Add here, come in. Add here, it should come. Add here, it should come. Immediately it will come. Like the array, how we did. If you go and come back from other component, your data will be here only. It will not lose at all. It will be here. Okay, so hope similar. I'll send you now this SRC folder in your chat. If anything wrong, you can use this folder.